Here are 3 reasons why Manchester United lost to 10 men Newcastle. And is this the biggest sign yet that Michael Carrick is not the one? Number 1, Newcastle's quick horizontal play was extremely good. I feel playing horizontally, or let's just say switching the play, is seriously underrated and underused as a style of play, and the Toon showed us why in this game against Manchester United. In the clips I'm showing, you can see how it opens up the play for Newcastle, and it's not just your tick-a-tacker approach of using 500 passes to get to the target. It was very fast and very direct by Newcastle, and this of course allowed them to maximize the space that opens up when you switch the play very quickly. Normally, switching the play in this fashion isn't seen as a viable option due to the risks involved. Despite this, Newcastle did switch the play successfully very often, and you can clearly see once the play has been switched, there are huge gaps and open spaces to exploit. Newcastle's team pulled the Manchester United defence back and forth, which meant that Manchester United could not effectively press or sustain a good low block. So Newcastle and Eddie Howe completely outwitted Manchester United and Michael Carrick here. And also, one final thing on this note, shout out to Dan Burn, who not only switches the play here to Trippier on basically his own 18-yard box. Whilst Trippier is also quite tightly marked, he also makes the pass on his weaker right foot. This just goes to show Newcastle's emphasis on this style of play and their confidence to carry it out. The second reason why Newcastle won was how intelligently they played once they went down to 10 men. So with 11 men, you can see here they set up defensively in a 4-5-1 formation. And when going down to 10 men, most of you or most of us would think the logical move would be to move to a 4-4-1 to keep the same general shape. But no. Howe changed to a 4-3-2, as you can see here. This was so that he could have his players in a more compact low block, so that they can better defend the central zones. Because sure, United do have players like Mbeumo and Cunha out wide who are incredibly dangerous, but allowing those type of players space on the outside instead of on the inside is a payoff you need to go for when you go down to 10 men. And it did pay off excellently for Newcastle, because Mbeumo and Cunha of course want to come inside from the wide areas because they're on their weaker foot. Of course, Cunha is on the left and he's right-footed, and Mbeumo was on the right and he's left-footed. And the Newcastle midfield 3 worked super hard to close down Mbeumo or Cunha once they did go in and drifted inside. Newcastle sacrificed the wide areas to dominate centrally. And we do know that Carrick's teams like to play through the centre, as we can see through the heat maps here. So again, it was a great move by Eddie Howe. And on that note, he also left Elanga and Gordon up top. 2 extremely pacey forwards who are able to cover ground to quickly shut down the wide areas, but also get quickly back to help centrally. And due to their pace, they were obviously very dangerous on the counter as well. So although leaving 2 men up top when you're down to 10 men sounds almost counterproductive, a little bit too risky, it actually worked excellently. And again, super smart move by Howe. He's again outwitted Michael Carrick, and he's down to 10 men, man. The third reason is actually down to Manchester United and how bad their tactics were. Firstly, I didn't notice any reaction to Newcastle's style of play. For example, they could have tried to stop those quick switches of play by actively pressing the person who was passing quicker, or working harder to shift over and cover the area once the ball had also switched to the other side of the pitch, or even moving to a defensive 4-5-1 shape to allow for more width across the midfield in their defensive formation. But I just didn't notice any adjustments to Newcastle's style of play. But also, on the note of Manchester United tactics, one of their clear tactics was to try to take advantage of Trippier's height. And they did this by sending long balls over to Cunha. And this tactic it's okay, I guess. But the problem is, Cunha isn't known for his heading or aerial ability. And the second and probably more important point was the team wasn't set up to win those second balls if Cunha did win the header. I mean, just look at this screenshot here. I think it was Lamens has sent the ball over to Cunha, and even if Cunha won the ball, there's no one around him, no Manchester United player around him to help to win the second ball. So it's a pointless tactic. It also needs to be pointed out that sending a long ball to one side of the pitch means there's only one direction for the second ball to go, and that's inwards. It's not like launching a ball through the centre where the attacker can head the ball, in any different direction. Because if Cunha heads the ball the wrong way, it's just going to go out for a throw-in. So the job was even harder for Cunha and even easier for Newcastle to defend this. And it also just reeks of under 14 boys Sunday league level, doesn't it? Like, we all had that coach who was like, oh look, that player at left back, he's really short, let's just kick the ball up to him and then, win the header and see what happens. Like, come on man, like, we can do better than this. Anyway, I've said it before in my previous videos and I'm now more convinced than ever that Carrick is not the man to take Manchester United forward, unfortunately. The results have of course still been good, but the tactics just aren't progressing and the general play is getting worse. Ever since the West Ham game, a heavy defeat like this has been coming, and I know you're going to say it was only 2-1, that doesn't really mean it's a heavy defeat, but the defeat was against 10 men. I think this constitutes to a heavy defeat. Anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe and let me know your thoughts on Carrick in the comments.